So by the end of the lesson today, you should identify rows, columns, and cells confidently. You should be able to navigate spreadsheets comfortably, and you should be able to select single and multiple cells. You should be able to insert and delete rows and columns. You should be able to resize columns and rows, and you should be able to organize your worksheets properly. First thing we'll be looking at is this represents our rows. So rows are represented with numbers. We identify them with numbers, and this our column. We identify them with letter. So and we know that okay, when a cell is here, so whatever we enter now enters into this place, and this place that I've selected a cell. And what does it mean for me to select a cell? What it means is that I'm making the cell to become active, so that when I input something, it enters into that cell. And if you look at it, when we pick a cell and when we pick a cell and we look at the name of the cell, it is named with its column and row. So this is column C, row 4. So this becomes cell C4. So on your spreadsheet, whenever we reference, maybe we are working and we reference, because when you are working with voluminous data, you might not specifically know where some values are, but you know where they are referenced. So you can just reference them. Okay, give me the figure in cell M20. So this is cell M20. So that is how to identify. That's how to identify our cells, rows, and column. Now, I said earlier that when you select a cell, it makes the cell to become active. And for example, maybe you want to select multiple cells, you can just move your mouse. So you place your mouse, then you move it, and you move it, and you move it, and you move it down. So now you've selected the whole of this cell. And why do we do something like this? Maybe we want to put a particular format in all of this cell. For example, let me just say, let's say it's cleared off. So I want to select maybe a particular row. We want all the things in that row to have a particular format. Maybe I can do something like this, fill color yellow. So it means everything on this row becomes yellow. So I want that row to show me yellow as my fill color in that particular row. So that's what that does. If I select multiple cells like that, so and I put my fill color, it applies to everything. It applies to everything. So now the same thing applies to column. We can select a column and change the fill color to whatever color you want it to be. So for you to select okay, we already talked about selecting multiple cells, and we talked about selecting entire row. Now you can select multiple rows too. So the same way you select multiple cells is the same way you select. Just place your mouse and you click it down, you drag it down, you drag it, you drag it, you drag it, then you move this, and if it is the column, you drag it. So whatever way you want to select. Look at this data set, for example. So I have this set. So now having this data set, I now discover that maybe I was supposed to enter the age of the students, and the age of the student was supposed to come in between the name and the gender. So the student's age is supposed to follow the student's name before the gender. Now looking at it, I can't say because of that I will now delete all of this and now delete it and then write the age and then come back. No. So there is a technique we can use, which is the inserting of cell. So once you just right click, you press insert, then it inserts automatically to the left side. So note that for Excel inserts before. Just note that Excel inserts before. If you are using a Google Sheet, Google Sheet will ask you, are you inserting to the right or to the left? Google Sheet will ask you, are you inserting above or below? So let's assume I discover that there's a particular student that should have been in the middle. So just click where the student is supposed to be, insert, and you have there, then you insert the student's record. You insert the student's record. So what I inserted here, which is for what's the name now? Which is for age. So I can now begin to enter their age. This one 23 years, this one 34, this one 32, this one 12, this one 23, this one 25. So you can see we keep on entering their age up till that. So that is for inserting of rows and column. And now let's assume we have now worked and we discovered that okay, at the long run, this age is not even necessary. So we want to delete it. The age is not necessary. We want to delete it. You can just right click. Once you right click, you come to delete. That's underneath the insert to just delete. Then you press delete. Once you press delete, the cells goes off. Now, when you are deleting a cell in Excel, you have to be very, very careful. Why? Because basically, after deleting it, once you press Ctrl Z, it can undo immediately, right? But then, not in all instances because, for example, let's assume you deleted that, then you now start continue working. You have now done a lot of voluminous work. Ctrl Z will only take you back one step. So it means if you want to now come back to this part of your delete, it means you will have to press Ctrl Z multiple times to bring you back there, or you definitely clear everything you have done. So it means when you are deleting a row or a column, you should be very, very, very careful and be sure that what you are deleting is actually worth deleting. Now, another thing we want to look at is resizing. Resizing, yes. If you look at this person now, this person's name is Grace Taiwo, but what is showing here is Grace Tai. So the wo has entered into this because the space that is given is not enough. Now, as a good data analyst that wants to submit this report, you are not expected to submit it like this. You are not expected to submit it like this. This is the heading, and why these are the data. So you can't submit it this way. Why? Because these ones now they need to be well stated. So what do you do in this case? You just simply resize it. So for you to resize it, you move your mouse. You see there's a plus. If you move it to this side, there's also a plus. So if you resize to this side or you resize to this side, so in this case we resize out. This is, so you resize it. You can see now everybody is showing correctly. So that's resizing. Another thing is you can also sorry, not insert now. You can also use column width. So the column width now is 20.43. Just put it on maybe 25. Just whatever you think will be good for you. If you come to this place, you can look at it. Column width. If you come here, you can just click on column width and you put it on let's say 23. That works for you. So just put it on whatever works best for you. So that is that on resizing your rows and your column. Now, organizing your worksheets. Now, if you look at this data set, to me, from what we have from the onset, this data set is very, 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 very is not well organized. Yes, it's not well organized. So what do we do to organize a data set? The first thing is your heading has to be very clear. For example, student ID, student name. So we know that whatever we are entering here on this column, whatever we are entering on this column is the student ID. Whatever we are entering on this column is the student's name. Whatever we are entering here is the gender. Whatever we are entering here is the department. Whatever we are entering here is the level. Whatever is here is attendance, assignment score, test score, exam score, total score, and status. So we know that it is well headed. The heading is correct. Unlike maybe you don't even put an heading, and we expect that it will eventually walk through. No. All right. So for us to organize this particular worksheet now, we discover that our heading has we have a correct heading. And we'll look through, do we have any empty rows? Do we have any empty row? Yes, we have one empty row, the one that was created earlier. So take it out. You can just delete it so that you don't have any empty row. So your data that are related are kept together and it is well labeled. Your data is well labeled. So now so for us to probably, let me say in this case now, this my heading, I can tabulate it. You can just put borders. So borders make your work neat. Actually, borders make your work look neat and unique. And I don't know, this is not a rule now, but based on my own work preference, most time when I use border, I always allow that my heading and that's my first row and my first column has no data, so that I can work within the box. I can work within the box. So it's just my own preference though. I can work within the box, and with that it makes it look easy for me. So you can see I'm trying to resize all of this so that this data on the long run looks neat. So we have this now carrying, this one can close up so that we don't take much space. Yes, so this can open up a little. This has some information, so it can open up a little. It can open up a little. This can open up a little. This can open up a little. This can open up a little. You can open this up a little, and then we can open this up a little. So now with this, we've opened up all the data. So if we look at it now, so you can decide as also you can decide to format this as green. So just your preference, just for us to know that that is the heading. So it's just your preference. You can just organize your data this way. So we have our data in a more organized format. We have our data in a more organized format. So okay, looking down, I'm still seeing that engineering here is not complete. So all I need to do is just open it up a little more so that everything becomes complete. All right, so that's on. All right, so what's the practical task? Your practical task, that's the task for you to do as a regard of this lesson, is to create a spreadsheet containing the student's name, a gender, department, and score. Then you add 10 records, and then you insert one row, you insert one column, you delete one unnecessary row, you resize columns properly, and you organize the worksheet neatly.